Hey everybody, welcome back to the Small Business CEO Morning Show. Small Business CEO is where small business finds big ideas. I want to thank you for joining us. I'm here with my co-pilot. We're actually co-pilots to each other. Mr. Rob Howes is in the house, and we want to thank you for taking time, giving us an opportunity to address you today in the form of the Small Business CEO Morning Show. So we're going to jump right in. For those of you who have not seen the show before, we'll let you know real quick that you're not going to be here long. These are designed to be short but impactful TV show episodes so that you can get a lot of wisdom in a hurry and start finding ways to implement this in your daily routine so that it makes a difference for you while you're making a difference for others.
Absolutely.
And with that in mind, I want to talk a little bit today about mentorship. That's a very important M word.
Very.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let me also explain. I'm out of uniform today. Rob's in uniform. I'm out of uniform with purpose today, and I'm going to come back later and tell you why. But there's a very good reason for it, and you'll appreciate it. So stick around to find out why Glenn's out of uniform today. But we're going to talk about mentorship because I think that this is probably one of the most important things that people can do if they're serious about their business endeavors. The problem for most of us is that we cannot live long enough to make all of the mistakes and corrections that we need to make in life. At some point, it makes sense for us to have some guidance.
Yeah.
And the guidance usually comes from people who have more experience with a thing than we do.
Right.
They don't have to be experts at it. They just need to have already traveled the road that you've been on. And that's usually done in the form of a mentor.
Yeah.
So you've had mentors over the years. Why don't you address that?
Well, success leaves clues. And so what are those clues? Well, you have to go find people who've done the things that you want to do or are going the direction you want to go. Everything that I've ever done in my life, I've done it at a higher level, at the highest level when there was somebody guiding me. So I think I'm pretty good at business. You know, I've been doing business my whole life. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I can never work for anybody.
You're unemployable,
I'm
right?
unemployable, horrible employee. So being in business for myself since, I don't know, thousands of years ago. But then I met you, and my mindset went to another level, and you don't even know it. And it's because
This is the first time I'm hearing this, but
Right.
thank you for that. I'm glad that you're sharing that.
I'm a student of life. I'm obsessed with becoming my best person. I'm obsessed with it. So, the only way you can do that is to have people that know more than you, and then you take the action of learning it, extracting it, and then applying it in your life.
Now, see, you said something very important there. We are not experts. We're colleagues. But I have some life experiences that make my experience very different than yours, or at least in it, something different than what you've experienced. And we both benefit from those individual experiences and sharing them. So your mentor does not have to be someone who is necessarily better than you or 10, 20 years ahead of you as your senior.
Right.
It just needs to be somebody that's got experience with something that a road you have not yet traveled. And that's really what we're talking about here when we talk about mentorship.
That's it.
So let me tell you what I have learned from mentors over the year and what you have the ability to learn if you are embracing mentorship in the way that we're talking about here. So probably one of the most important things I learned from mentors is how to think. That's probably the hardest work we do on the planet is taking the time to engage in deliberate and accurate thought.
Man.
And one of my mentors taught me that you need to make conscious time, set aside conscious time just to stop and think.
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking about, just allowing your mind to wander and daydream. What he was talking about is being reflective, being mindful, being deliberate, and thinking through what you're trying to accomplish, whether you're doing things consistent with what you say you want, and all these other, he gave me a whole protocol for that. And we actually we're going to be teaching that in the Learning Center for Small Business CEOs because it's that important.
It's super important.
The process of critical thinking or deliberate thought is a superpower that every entrepreneur needs to master. And every entrepreneur can master. It's not something you're born with.
Yeah.
It's just something you have to be aware of and make a conscious decision to develop. It's really that simple.
It really is. I mean, if you put it into a different illustration, think about yourself driving down the highway super fast, 197 miles an hour. You're flying. You can't see much of anything. You can't see the trees. It's not until you stop to where you can see what you need to see. You can see people, opportunities, but it's the slowing down. So if you want to think, stop. That's how you think. If stop, then you'll be forced
Yeah,
to
take a still.
Yeah.
Be still and take a still.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that'll begin the process of you becoming a little bit more mindful.
Another way to think about that is sometimes you have to slow down in order to speed up. That was one of the things my mentors told me,
Yeah.
is that, we get into the habit of just going through the daily routine as fast as we can, getting to this meeting, getting to that meeting, this business event,
Yeah.
finishing a project, that we're not even paying attention to what we're learning as we're going through those experiences.
Right.
So if you take a step back and slow down, it will actually help you to speed up.
That's good.
Because you would start identifying things that you don't need to be doing, things that you're doing that are not generating results,
Yep.
but you're doing them because somebody told you to do them,
Right.
or you thought they were the things to do.
Yeah.
But being mindful, taking the time to stop and think, allows you to see the forest for the trees, as you described, and be able to determine whether you're doing the right things. Because success isn't about doing things, it's
Right.
about doing the right
Right
things.
things. Don't confuse movement with progress.
Exactly, exactly. So another thing I learned from mentors is how to create opportunities, how to see opportunities, not miss things, because again, you're so busy
That's it.
that you have these gems, these gold bricks being put in front of you, and you're too busy stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, because you're not paying attention. And when you don't pay attention,
Yeah.
you pay in other ways.
So those two connect. The way you think helps you to create.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because as you start taking the time to engage in conscious thought, you see opportunities to be of service to people. You become very solution oriented. You start seeing things. This is where mindset affects
Right.
the scope the lens through which you view the world. You start looking for where there's a way to improve something for somebody else, and usually there's a way for you to have an impact
Yep.
that also increases your income. But we miss it a lot of times by just going through the motions
Wow.
of daily life. So that's why a lot of really successful people, they take time off. They're not on the golf course just to hit the ball.
Yeah.
They're clearing their minds, and they're getting an opportunity to be reflective and be able to step away long enough to see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
People think country clubs are for stuffed shirt type people. That's their rehab center. That's
Yeah.
their you think everyone most of us we desire to work for 6 months and go on vacation. We need to re-energize and be refreshed all the time.
All the time.
And so successful people find ways to integrate that into their daily routine through everything that they're doing. So learn how to create, learn how to see opportunity, and last but not least, learning how to become more as a person. That's what personal development and self-help
That's
education is
it.
all about. Learning how to become more as a person. One of my favorite publications, this one, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. I think one of the most important quotes that he shares in there. And this is something, I don't care whether you're a believer or not, but the word God is used in this. So don't let that blow you out. Just if you're not a believer, you don't have to be to get the wisdom from this. But it's really pretty simple. You owe no greater duty to God and humanity than to make the most of yourself. You owe no greater duty to God and humanity than to make the most of yourself. Now, here's the thing: when you make the most of yourself, it's for yourself, but it's also for others.
Right.
As you become better at who you are and what you do, you become more valuable to yourself, because your impact can be greater, but you also become more valuable to others. And that's when your income increases. The more you're capable of doing for others, because you've grown, the more value they see in you, and the more they're willing to compensate you for what you can do for them. I've often heard it said that your paycheck reflects the size of the problems you're able to solve.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Flipping hamburgers is not a big problem for restaurants,
Right.
which is why it pays minimum wage. Coming up with the systems that they've employed to be profitable in their businesses is where the money is.
Yeah.
So stop being in the system, start being the creator of the system.
Right.
That's what you should be aspiring to if you really see the vision see the forest for the trees, so to speak.
Yeah. And going back to becoming more as a person, going back to that quote, it's your duty. It's your duty because your purpose has a purpose. So it's your duty to God and humanity to become the person you're supposed to become, because the person you're supposed to become makes this place better. So if you never become that person,
You've left a gap,
You left the
a
gap.
void in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stop. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
All right, so listen, we told you we're gonna keep this short. I do want to explain about the T-shirt, and this is a joy for me because this T-shirt was sent to me by a gentleman that I met on Instagram, and I want to make sure I don't get his website wrong. So, but here's how this works. John Joseph reached out to me on Instagram. He was following my Instagram account, and he asked me to show some love for one of his postings. That's a common process on Instagram. You send people a snapshot of, and you ask them to like it or comment on it. And I said, well, I'll do you one better. If you send me one of your T-shirts, I will wear it on my TV show. And he did just that. So we got this about a week ago. We weren't shooting at the time, but let me just show you what it says. This guy, his company is called Ideate, and all of his shirts are usually messages about self-help, personal development, growth, and about ideas. So this one says, consistency is the cousin of success.
The cousin.
The cousin of, I hope I can, let me see if I can. Consistency is the cousin of success.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that this guy has created an entire company centered around helping you to keep the right message in your mind at all times. Hopefully when I'm walking down this, I'm gonna wear this the rest of the day, at least. And as I'm walking down the street, this will impact somebody, you know? That's his idea. His big idea was to create a company that he inspires others when you buy his shirt, you know? So let me tell you what the domain name is for the website. It's actually ideate.clothing.com. The number, or the letter I, the letter D, the number 8, clothing.com. So go to www.id8clothing.com and check around and find something that you could sink your teeth into or see yourself wearing and sharing as a message. That's a way for you to have an impact. Go buy a shirt from John and wear that and share that message when you go out into the public. That's a great way for you to have an impact. If everyone does a little, no one has to do a lot, you know. And I encourage you to get connected with John on Instagram. Now, let me just tell you, his handle on Instagram is a little bit different. I don't want to muff it, so here it is. It's Ideate, but it's spelled I-D-E-A-T-E, clothing. Ideate Clothing. Ideate Clothing. Go out and follow him on Instagram and comment on one of his posts. Let him know that you saw his company mentioned on the show today. He's not a sponsor. This isn't a paid thing. This was a guy who was smart enough to reach out and want to have a relationship, a business relationship with us, and got connected and started sharing information, ideas back and forth, and we just hit it off, just like Rob and I hit it off. Now he's my co-pilot. We're co-pilots to each other here. So what I'm saying is, go and honor his little ripple in the world for us by having shared this message with us today. Give him some love, show him some love on his Instagram account. All right, on that note, we're about to close up, but I want to give you a way for you to get connected in the small business CEO community. This is all free, so just be sure that you do it. If you go to tipsonsuccess.com, that's where you can add your name and your email address to our community communication system. And that allows you to be notified of TV shows when they're coming up, new resources that we come out with. You're going to get the business plan blueprint with a mini webinar that's going to teach you step-by-step how to implement it. You're going to get the entrepreneur reflection sheet, which gives you the opportunity to understand 5 things that you should be thinking about every day if you're a serious entrepreneur. We're going to keep you in front of those reminders consistently. We are also going to keep you on track with business and technology news to make sure you don't miss anything. We want to make it easy for you as an entrepreneur to surround yourself with the daily dose of wisdom you need to be at your best and to be constantly in a state of evolution. So we're going to do our part. We're asking you to do yours. Yours is pretty simple. Go to www.tipsonsuccess.com and get on the mailing list. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to get some stuff you're not going to use, and it'll be like everything else that you've got. But we promise you that if you get tied in and start using this stuff, it will make a difference.
Oh yeah.
So I want to thank you for joining us on Small Business CEO Morning Show. We'll look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. Be sure to tell some folks about us, and let's grow this family to make it happen for everybody. Take care. We'll see you again soon.